We are standing in the holy cemetery of the Kahal Kodesh Migenzah, the holy community of Mainz. This community, this cemetery was erased and eradicated when the Jews were expelled in 1436 for the last time. But the first Jews, like we said, the first yeshivas that were here was in Migenzah, and this is the proof of it. This is the oldest matzeva here. This is from the 10th century. And it says, Poinik Farabuna Meshulam. Here is buried, it's written in Aramaic. The Rabbi Meshulam, the son of Rabbono Rabbi Kalonymus. The son of Rabbi Kalonymus. This Rabbi Kalonymus would be the son of the Moshe Hazukim, the first one that came by Charlemagne, like we spoke in the other videos, came to live here in Mainz, Migenzah. He passed away in the 10th century. It's still way back in the 10th century. Rabbeinu Gershom still mentions him. And Rabbeinu Meshulam lived in the time of Hagolah and of Syriagon, because we have 15 responsa back and forth from Rabbeinu Meshulam that he sends to Baghdad to ask different shilas how to do certain haluchas, how to do certain ways of life. And Rabbeinu Meshulam writes 15 shuvas, responsa that we have that goes to the Goinim from Hagolah and of Syriagon. If we walk over here, this is unbelievable. This is one of the rabbis of Rashi. We know that Rashi came from France to learn by the Talmidim of Rabbeinu Gershom. Rabbeinu Gershom or Hagolah. One of them would be Rabbi Yakov bar Yakar. Rabbi Yakov, the son of Yakov, and he also held a yeshiva here in Mainz, together with another Talmud of Rabbeinu Gershom, which was called Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, the Ri Halevi, the Skan Levia. And they were also the rabbis of Rashi. There was one more Talmud that was lived in Worms, and that was another Talmud that Rabbi Yehuda, his name was, and Rashi learned over there also in Worms, that we're going to get to eventually Met Hashem when we're going to go to visit the city of Worms. Now, if we come up a little bit further in this holy place, Admas Kodesh, if we think about it, Reb Amnon from Migenzah, the famous story with the Nasana Toikev that's brought by Reb Chaim Ibon, that's brought in all the Machzorim. If you read it in our scroll, if you read the whole story there from Reb Amnon and the bishop of Mainz, he also lived over here. He should also be buried over here. Another one that should be buried over here would be the Meir Schatz, the famous Schatz, the one that wrote the Akdomus Milin, that was that we recite on Shavuos. We don't say all the Haftorah, but we say the Hagdoma from the Haftorah. The Shus from the Haftorah that was written by Amnon, that was the Meir Schatz, the Meir Shlich Tzibor, the Meir the cantor of Migenzah, also lived in the time probably of Rabbeinu Meshulam, before the time of Rabbeinu Gershom. Very, very old, the Balagdomas. And now we're going to go up and we're going to see a small headstone. I don't remember where it is.
It's down there.
Huh?
It's down there.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Over here.
Right over here? That one there? Ah, here it is. Unbelievable. Tiny, let's say, if you read over here, nothing is legible anymore from these matzevas. We don't know exactly what's what from all these matzevas. But here it says, Tzur Chutzav, a stone was carved out, L'zecher Rabbeinu Gershom ben Reb Meir. And the rest we don't have over here. This is the famous Rabbeinu Gershom Meor Hagolah. He's called the light of the exile. Why is he called the light of the exile? Because in the year 1000, plus minus, he called a synod. He gathered all the rabbis of Ashkenaz, and he made certain takanot, certain decrees, and some of them being very famous that we hold till today. One of them is that the ban on polygamy. The second one is that one may not divorce his wife by force, and the third one being is that one that what's the third one?
2 wives.
Two wives.
And reading someone's.
And reading someone's mail. And he's called him Meor Hagolah. Marcus Lehman, who was the rabbi here in in Mainz at the end of the 19th century, he writes that Rabbeinu Gershom actually, he was born in Metz, but he actually, besides for learning by Rav Leonton, he traveled all the way to Baghdad to learn the yeshivas of Sura and Pumbedisa. He probably is relying on the tshuva from the Mashal that says that Rabbeinu Gershom was a Talmud of Hagolah. So if we read that literally, then Rabbeinu Gershom actually picked himself up from here, from Metz. He wasn't born here. He was born in Metz in France, and he was here the big rabbi. Rashi writes at the end, already 2 generations later, that all Chachmei Ashkenaz, all the Torah of Ashkenaz, are Talmidim and all their knowledge and all their scholarly discourse is reliant on Rabbeinu Gershom. There is a famous story about Rabbeinu Gershom getting stuck in Constantinople, written by Marcus Liman. For further study, maybe I'll put on links on this in the description if anybody wants to pursue this further. So this is the holy place of Magenzah. This was the place where it all began. This is where all the Ashkenaz, all the yeshivas in Ashkenaz started, and that will be Magenzah. And then we're going to go to Speyer and then Worms, and that will make the acronym of Shum, and that will explain what it means, Takona Shum, and how it happened. But we already know that in time of Rabbeinu Gershom, if one reads his Slichas and his Kinnis, he died in 1040, in the year 1040. The same day that he died, Rashi was born. But if you read his Slichas, we see that the Jews were already not fearing well already in his time, before the Crusades came in 1096. They already have their own pogroms. We know that in Magenzah there was a pogrom in 1086, exactly 10 years before the Crusades, and a lot of the Jews in Magenzah decided, because the Jews, the Gentiles living here were hostile to the Jewish population, unlike in Worms where they were more friendly to the Jewish population. And they picked themselves up here, and they got permission from the Archbishop of Speyer to come open a yeshiva there, and he granted them a letter of rights and permission, and a lot of them picked themselves up and left. And that we'll see later on after the Crusades. They will be the only ones that survived the first crusade, and that's why we say Hashem is always magden the refuah lamaki. He gives us always the antidote before the actual illness. So something of Yehadus Ashkenaz was able to survive. Now Rabbeinu Gershom Hagolah, he had a son that was converted. We don't know if it was by force or not. And Rabbeinu Gershom sat shiva on his son. That's the Makar that we have, and we sit shiva if someone goes out of the faith. But he was very for Jews that were forcibly baptized, that they could come back into the fold. Rashi takes also his notion of that, to be very lenient on those that were forcibly baptized, to take them to accept them back into the Jewish community.